The commercial cleaning industry is transforming with the implementation of artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. You've heard of both of them. These cutting edge technologies are revolutionizing traditional cleaning practices, making them more efficient, effective, and sustainable. Together, AI and IoT are improving the quality and consistency of cleaning services, optimizing resource usage, and reducing operational costs, thereby setting new standards in the industry. And today, my guest has some thoughts on how the implementation of AI and IoT are changing the face of the commercial cleaning industry. So I'm pleased to welcome Todd Jones, the owner, operator, and area developer in Virginia for Office Pride Commercial Cleaning Services. So welcome, Todd, to the program.
Thank you, Jeff. Glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
A great conversation we're going to have. Really, the topic about implementation of AI and IoT. Some people think they understand it, some don't, but we're going to set some records straight, I think, on how it applies really to our industry. So let's get into it, Todd. Can you talk about how AI and IoT help with managing large groups in dispersed offsite locations, and how much technology is really changing this challenge for the industry?
Yes, Jeff, I would. It definitely has changed. I mean, starting with the baseline of something as simple as, clocking in and clocking out. I like to tell new managers in our area who maybe come to work for us and might have experience, which is an experience that translates into our industry. In the fast food industry. And I'll mention a Chick-fil-A, who I definitely admire. And I like to share with them that, every actual task done in that store, probably most people could learn in an hour or two, and do well. But the real trick is that you manage all the people doing everything on time, so that when you drive in 2 minutes later, you have exactly what you ordered, hot and ready to go. That's the trick. And so it's the same in our industry. The trick, most of our tasks are not that complicated, but it's managing them through a large group of people that's the real trick. And then on top of that, there's one exception between us and like a well-run Chick-fil-A store, is that our employees are dispersed over the whole city or over the whole region. And so there's been a lot of technology, and I think we're just at the beginning of it, to how to manage that so that an area manager, let's say, actually can manage her or his workforce just like maybe a store manager could in a Chick-fil-A store. So probably I'd like to just start with the baseline, and that is that I think most good cleaning companies have this now, and it's basically app-based on their phones. And so when we hire an employee, they put an app on their phone, and that app actually allows them to interface with our company in all aspects. And you can get actual shared responsibility and some autonomy, more autonomy for that employee. Well, what does that mean? Well, they clock in, clock out at a job site through the app. Now, when they first came out with this technology, it was basically caller ID on a landline, but now it's a geofence around a site, and they can clock in, clock out right there. If, for say, they're running late or they're not there at their time, they can send an alert to a manager. So that's an example of technology. Also, all their pay, W-2, information about the company, messages, end of the year, financials, that all comes out through their app, and they interface with us through that app. So that's one example. One of the new generations of that is that we can actually, same kind of thing, look at workflow through a building. So if we have an area manager who might be sitting in a van 20 miles away or 30 miles away, she can actually get on the app and see how they're progressing through the building, making sure they're on time, through a couple different things. One would be the swipe technology through a NFC code or a QR code where they swipe it using, again, their phone. So if they had a bathroom, let's say we have a large account, and we have designated times for the restrooms to be cleaned. Well, the customer kind of wants us to prove that we did that. Well, when they swipe at 10:45 and then they leave at, let's say, 11:30, they can swipe out, and you can apply that technology throughout the facility. And sometimes in really large facilities, like this facility is 1 million square feet, that can be real helpful for the manager who can see and watch workflow. And it's also a safety ad because we know exactly where everybody is. And if there was an emergency in the building, we can communicate with them.
So, Todd, I love your example of Chick-fil-A because, yeah, they have a process and it works. And I like their chicken.
Right. Well,
So,
and their product is really good. And so I like to use them as an example, but like our challenge is that we're not under one roof. So we need more tools, and they're coming out with more and more tools to be able to do that.
so, so are you seeing good results from this with, you mentioned employees out there in the field, all over the place, over the city, the county, wherever it's working, this
Oh,
technology?
yes, it's working. I mean, this technology, this one piece is newer, but we can even, if somebody's stalled and hasn't moved for whatever reason, maybe they got hurt on the job, or maybe there's something going on that we need to know about, but they can't communicate. It will actually, I think it raises an alert, or it turns orange. I haven't actually dealt with it directly, but and it will inform the manager that somebody hasn't moved for us, and then they can go and check on that person, make sure they're all right, or make sure, is there a problem, what's happening. So that is technology that is definitely working. It's a game changer. Most people have been in the business a long time. When the first technology came out based on phones, it got out of that whole old sign in, sign out, or even the time clock. It completely made it obsolete.
Mhm. So obviously, commercial cleaning clients are looking for competitive pricing from companies like yours, Todd. Can you speak to being cost effective for the customer that would help with getting contracts and keeping clients?
Yes. When we especially a larger facility, we have a pre-plan that we put in place. And one of the things that's a pre-planned on it is to actually map out and give a basic visual on workflow, so that because any job, even if you're at home, if you have a well planned out systematic plan, then you're going to be the most efficient with that. And so this technology can help with that, making sure that we're working the plan like it's supposed to be worked. So that allows efficiency. The other thing that the reports will give us is that we can provide various reports to the customer. A lot of customers don't need it, but some do, in which you can provide, when they actually did the work in a particular area. Another thing that with this kind of technology that provides immediate feedback, and that's one of the big advantages, is just inspections. You inspect what you expect. Well, we can, with this technology, actually inspect the work, obviously from a supervisor standpoint, or area manager standpoint of what's been done. But it can even be done on a cleaner level. So cleaner goes through a particular area, they're finished up, they're about to swipe, and what can pop up is a task schedule to say, okay, have you completed everything? Pops up. They actually check it off on their phone, then submit it, and then swipe out and go to their next section or home or wherever. And that's another avenue where, we in management know that it's been done wrong, but that we can prove to the customer. But also, it gives the cleaner actual autonomy. They're kind of running their own little program, and they're reminding themselves. I mean, I've done cleaning before, and one of the things to check is, okay, do I have all my equipment with me, my spray bottles? And then it's on that list that, no, where did my glass cleaner go? Whoa, I think I left it back on Mr. Johnson's desk. So those are the kind of things that a checkoff sheet can provide and help the cleaner do the best job they can.
Yeah, I like that. Not every, as you said, not every client is going to want some of this information, but if you can have that validation and show what's been done and when and how long, that's great information. That's a selling point to me that you would offer that maybe even upon request.
Yeah, another aspect that I'd like to talk about is AI, and I think um, some people would be a reaction of cleaning, commercial cleaning has AI, and I would say yes, it does. um, and we're using two robots in one of our biggest accounts, robotics auto scrubber, so it wet scrubs the hard floor, and then we also use a vacuum that does the same thing, very much like what you see in your home, um, although bigger, but it provides very good work. It still needs to be supervised in many different aspects, in the sense that once the work's done, somebody needs to go back through and make sure it was done correctly. But that's very much like if you had a person doing it. Um, the other thing that I see it in the future more and more of is that the cleaners, actually frontline I'm talking about now, become more and more of a technician. How so? Well, in this particular building that we're using it, these two machines are working um, in parallel, and then we have a cleaner assigned to oversee them. The machine actually communicates to the cleaner through texting. And so if the machine, as it's doing its job, runs into a challenge or an obstacle, it will stop, obviously, and could text our technician or our cleaner who comes in and finds out what's going on. Very much like when you go to the grocery store now, either you agree with it or not, but you're checking yourself out. Well, obviously, when I go to my grocery store, I usually do that unless it's really big. Group of groceries, and that person is overseeing multiple stations and only comes to the aid of somebody who needs it. It's the same thing here. Um, and the technology will do its job and will text the person when needed. They're actually doing other work while the AI based machines are doing theirs. It also can help in staffing, because they're actually helping out in tasks being done without having a person doing it. So, and in many ways, it's elevating the cleaner, and they're being more and more responsible for more work, but the machines are doing them. So that's an avenue of where AI is working. Much like in your home, we have some locations throughout the country who are my colleagues that they have multiple units, and they're using them actually during day cleaning, so that um, uh, people work around them in the office, and they even name them. So I think you're going to see more and more of that technology coming to the cleaning space.
Yeah, I like that. In the self-checkout at the grocery store, as you mentioned, you might like that, you might not. But that former perhaps checkout clerk is now managing a system. So there's more opportunity in the industry for cleaners to get into managing processes and jobs, perhaps. But let's talk about this, Todd. Obviously, these are all great ideas. But what are the biggest challenges contractors have in adopting all of this? Because it's not something you just flip a switch on.
Right. Well, I mean, I would say um, one might be surprised, but I would say first is just mindset. We've had, uh, there's a lot of people who do work really hard in the industry, and they've done it in a certain way. And when you talk about putting a robot to do the vacuuming, they're first to object to it. And so I think there needs to be a mindset saying, look, in our industry, there are changes happening, and embrace those changes. Sure, there's things to work through. Nothing's a silver bullet, but if you have the mindset, we're going to embrace that, and we're going to, when we go to the ISSA conference, we're going to be checking that out. I think those are the people, those are the companies that are going to be here long term, because with all the challenges in our industry, I think technology and Internet of Things can be real helpful. When I speak of Internet of Things, just getting reports from the machines themselves, besides, autonomous machines, but just even scrubbers and vacuums, everything from maintenance to how long they're being used. That can all apply to our industry. So I'd say the first thing is definitely having the mindset of that. Also, there's the mindset of, you usually have to pay more when you're dealing with technology up front. But if you go through the calculations long term, it can be more efficient, you can get more done in the same time. You might be able to move towards having less people in a building actually overseeing this technology and cleaning. Then it long term it can save money, and I think that needs to be, people need to think that through and do the analysis of that. And I would say, yeah, I mean, and I think that's where ISSA comes in big, is to be a part of what's happening, so that you have a conduit, you have a stream of knowledge. Because in our industry, like any industry, knowledge is huge, and learning what the latest is, and ISSA is a perfect platform for that.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our episode today, Todd, any final thoughts, anything we missed that you'd like to tell the industry?
Um, Yeah, I just would say that, embrace technology, everything from cameras in the vans to for safety reasons, to robotic cleaning machines, to what you're putting in the hands of a field cleaner. I mean, our industry, it's a little, because kind of going back to what we first started, you could have a cleaning and have cleaning teams, but they can be kind of isolated. And to have an opportunity to be able to communicate with their supervisor, with the company, in a handheld device, even to the point where we're doing training over those same platforms. You can do training. If somebody has a problem in the field, you can actually send a video to them that you can talk about it. You can FaceTime, obviously, on a problem solving, but allowing the cleaner to be more connected with the company and what the objectives are of the company, I think is pays big dividends.
Agreed. Well, Todd, I appreciate you joining us today. And now let's see if we can help the industry.